Today we're diving into some big-time changes happening with the Cincinnati Bengals in 2025. A lot has shifted since the last time this team took the field. We've seen departures, new draft picks, fresh faces from free agency, and major coaching staff adjustments. This team is starting to take on a new identity, and it's time to break it all down. Before we jump into the latest Bengals updates, make sure to subscribe to the channel, give this video a like, and don't forget to hit that bell icon so you never miss a beat. Now, let's get to the news. The most significant change for Cincinnati isn't a player. It's the hire of Al Golden as defensive coordinator. Even though he won't be taking the field, his influence will be massive. When Lou Anarumo left, Zac Taylor already had his replacement in mind. There weren't a lot of interviews. Once Golden finished up at Notre Dame, the decision felt inevitable. This isn't Golden's first time in stripes. He was with the team in 2021, coaching linebackers during that unforgettable Super Bowl run. Now he returns to lead the entire defense, and there's a lot riding on him to turn things around from last season. The Bengals didn't just bring in new talent. They made a statement by re-signing key players. B.J. Hill is back on a 3-year deal, something many didn't expect. Joseph Osai returns, and Geno Stone remains locked in at safety. These moves show the organization believes in its defensive core. Now it's on Golden to bring out the best in them. This is a high-stakes move. If Golden gets it right, the Bengals could field one of the most dynamic defenses in the league. But if things fall flat, it could reflect heavily on Zac Taylor, who just made one of the biggest coaching decisions of his career. If this move doesn't pan out, Zac Taylor could be facing some serious questions about his future. That's the level of weight this hire carries. But make no mistake, Al Golden was the right call. His experience, his connection to the team, and his vision for the defense make him the guy to lead this next chapter. I fully believe he can elevate this unit and help turn last year's struggles into this season's strength. Now, take a look at the coaching foundation Cincinnati is working with. Zac Taylor is back leading the charge. Dan Pitcher enters his second year calling the offense, while Darren Simmons remains the special teams anchor, the longest tenured coach on the staff. With Golden now overseeing the defense, this is a core group with continuity, trust, and upside. Whether that translates into wins on Sundays, that's the next test. Let's talk about some fresh faces ready to make their mark, starting with Demetrius Knight Jr. The second-round pick from South Carolina comes in with big expectations. Lining up next to Logan Wilson, Knight could quickly become a key part of this linebacking group. He's athletic, smart, and physical, everything you want in a modern linebacker. The real question is, how fast can he adjust? Will he be a day-one starter or ease into a rotational role as he finds his footing? Joining the linebacker mix is Oren Burks, a Super Bowl-winning veteran arriving from Philadelphia. While not expected to play every down, Burks brings leadership and experience that'll be crucial in a young group. He's the kind of steady presence every defense needs. And then there's Mumajong Ma, a name Bengals fans have already grown to love. After making the roster as an undrafted free agent last year, he's back and fighting for a bigger role. He's already proven himself on special teams, but the question now is whether he can carve out a spot in Al Golden's defensive plans. Finally, don't overlook Barrett Carter, the 4th-round pick out of Clemson. He's got top-tier instincts and moves with purpose, exactly what you want in a versatile linebacker. The Bengals are high on his potential, and if he develops quickly, he could be yet another impact player added to the mix. This linebacker room is deeper, younger, and more dynamic than it's been in years. Now it's up to the coaching staff to mold it into a reliable playmaking unit. The defensive tackle rotation in Cincinnati is headed for a serious shakeup. One of the most notable changes, TJ Slaton stepping in at nose tackle to replace the outgoing Sheldon Rankins. Slaton brings size, strength, and a tough presence in the middle of the line, exactly what this defense needs. Pairing him with Jerry Montgomery, the Bengals' new defensive line coach, gives Cincinnati a fresh dynamic up front. Their connection could be key in anchoring a unit that struggled against the run last year. That's the mission now. Stop the run early, force teams into long passing downs, and give Al Golden the flexibility to be aggressive. Stopping the run wasn't a strong point last season. The Bengals often found themselves on their heels, giving up too much yardage on first and second downs. Slayton's arrival signals a clear shift in philosophy. Control the line of scrimmage from snap one. But it's not just the veterans that could make noise. Undrafted talent is knocking on the door, and the defensive tackle room might be where one of them breaks through. Keep your eye on Howard Cross III, who brings a high motor and familiarity with Al Golden from their days at Notre Dame. That connection could give him an edge. Then there's Eric Gregory, another potential depth piece with upside, and Dante Barnett, the Bengals' international pathway player. While Barnett won't count against the active roster, he's likely to be a part of the practice squad and gives Cincinnati a developmental project worth watching. This group has a chance to completely redefine the interior of the Bengals' defensive front. With a mix of new leadership, young talent, and a clear goal in mind, shut down the run and reset the tone up front, Cincinnati's defensive identity could look a lot different and a lot tougher in 2025. One of the biggest questions hovering over this Bengals roster heading into the 2025 season is the battle at the guard spots. The tackles are locked in, Orlando Brown Jr. on the left, Amarius Mims on the right, and Ted Karras continues to hold things down at center, at least for now. But what happens between them? That's where things get interesting. Let's start with Dylan Fairchild, the third-round pick out of Georgia. There's a growing sense that he could be the answer at left guard from day one. He brings the kind of physical edge and SEC toughness that Cincinnati's interior line has been missing. And with Scott Peters coaching up the unit, the expectation is that Fairchild will be ready when it matters. But the real mystery is at right guard. The Bengals brought in Lucas Patrick late in free agency. He's experienced, but more of a short-term plug than a guaranteed starter. Cordell Volson, who started in past seasons, has been inconsistent, solid at times, but also benched more than once. His grip on that spot is far from secure. Then there's Cody Ford, a name the coaching staff seems to trust. He's got the build and the background, but his best role might still be as a rotational lineman, the kind of guy you plug in when someone's banged up, not necessarily the guy you want penciled in for all 17 games. If he earns it in camp, great. But that battle is far from over. Don't forget about Jackson Kirkland either. The team was high on him last year before an injury cut his season short. He's got versatility, able to play inside or out, and if he's healthy and back in form, he could absolutely challenge for that starting right guard job. All eyes will be on this position group throughout training camp. With battles this close, it's not just about talent. It's about who steps up and claims the job. Cincinnati's offensive success could hinge on it. When it comes to the Bengals running backs, one thing is clear. Chase Brown is the undisputed lead back. He's shown flashes that suggest he could be one of the next breakout stars at the position in the NFL. But last season, after Zach Moss went down with an injury, Brown carried way too much of the load, and that's not sustainable for Cincinnati. The good news? Moss is back and ready to share the workload. His return means the Bengals can better manage Brown's carries and keep him fresh throughout the season. Having Moss back adds valuable depth and experience, which the team desperately needs. Then there's Samaje Perine, who returns after a stint with Kansas City. Expect him to primarily fill the role of a reliable third down back, someone who can catch passes and grind out tough yards when needed. Both Joe Burrow and Zach Taylor trust Perine, so he'll be an important part of this running back committee. And don't overlook the intriguing 6th-round pick Taj Brooks. He's a bigger back with the versatility to contribute both as a runner and a receiver out of the backfield. While his exact role in year one is still up in the air, it's clear the Bengals got themselves a potential gem. At some point, Brooks could develop into that dependable right-hand man to Chase Brown. All told, the Bengals enter 2025 with a much improved running back room. It was an area of concern in the offseason, but smart moves have made it a strength. With more balance and depth, Cincinnati's ground game is set up to be a real weapon this year. Let's circle back to the defensive side to close things out. We've already talked about the defensive line and linebackers, so now it's time to focus on the secondary. The Bengals haven't really added new faces here during the offseason, which raises some questions. Mike Hilton's departure is still looming, even though he hasn't officially signed elsewhere yet. That leaves a gap to fill. How exactly will Al Golden use this group? Right now, it looks like Dax Hill might be starting outside rather than in the nickel role. That spot is likely to go to Josh Newton, who will be asked to step up for Cincinnati. The cornerback rotation is another key area to watch. Do you start Patrick Turner or CTB? Both players are coming off injuries, so their health and performance in training camp will be critical. The Bengals also brought back Marco Wilson on a one-year deal, and DJ Ivey remains on his rookie contract, so the pressure is on these guys to raise their level this season. Now, the edge rusher spot remains one of the biggest question marks. The Trey Hendrickson saga is far from settled, and it's been a rocky situation for the team. Plus, Shamar Stewart hasn't finalized his contract, which adds more uncertainty. Outside of Hendrickson, production has been scarce in recent seasons. You've got Joseph Osai back on a one-year prove-it deal after a lackluster year. Cam Sample is coming off a major Achilles injury, so health concerns linger there. And then there's Myles Murphy, the 2023 first-round pick, who hasn't quite lived up to expectations yet. This edge group could very well be the make-or-break factor for Cincinnati's defense in 2025. They need these players to elevate their game and show real progress. If this unit can't perform consistently, it's going to be tough for the Bengals to reach their goals this year.